Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the first of many live streams on the new channel, MikeNificent Uncut. I don't know about you, but this feels like I'm starting a YouTube channel all over again from scratch, like it's just brand new. And because it's a new YouTube channel, I still feel pretty new to like all the changes they made. So like right now, I think I have to actually enable chat so I can see you guys chat. But I see I've got 5 watching, so that's great. I'll give you a shout out if you leave me a comment. And thanks to all the new people that have subbed. I tell you, like, it's so great that I can plug a new channel just by telling people go subscribe to it, and I already have like 250 or so subs. So hang on one second here and then I'll get started. Really quick, guys. So I've been working on this laptop that's brand new, like updating drivers and fixing all the bugs and software, because the thing is, the video and audio quality, I won't say it sucks, but it kind of, I feel like, is underwhelming, kind of underperforms. You know, like when I record a video, not over the air and like not using data or anything, just pre-recorded video, if I do it on my cell phone, even with a front-facing camera, it's like HD quality. I know it's like 720p, but the quality of it's really, really good. Same with the sound. But when I do that same thing on the laptop, I notice like when I go to rewatch the video, it's like grainy and the sound is not that good. Same with the actual live streams. If I live stream and go and rewatch it, it's kind of like grainy and stuff. So I got these headphones. Tell me if you guys can hear me better with or without the headphones. Before I get started, just because I want to make sure that I can work out any bugs ahead of time as as this channel progresses and starts to grow. Thinking about getting a camera, one of those like Logitech, whatever cameras that I can just mount to the top of the laptop and it'll give me better quality. Okay, someone said sounds better now. Better with headphones. Okay, perfect. I'll use this headphone for now. So who do we got in the building? We got Fotini. You're proud to be the very first viewer. Congratulations, you're the first to comment. I am fed up. Cajun Legacy. Ron Abalon. Dina Marie, what's up, Dina? So Dina's actually moderator for the other channel. So if Dina is up to the task, I would love to have her as a moderator on this channel, because in reality, this channel is going to see a majority of the live streams, probably more on this channel than the other ones or the other channel. But expect this one to be more consistent with live streams. What else we got? Betty Horn and Shannon Lee. How you doing? Thank you guys for tuning in for this first ever live stream. And I think I'll be able to respond to everyone's messages, right? Because it'll be a lot easier because I don't have, 300 plus people watching. There's only 8 of you. I would love to have all 10,000 or however many subs I have watching, but the reality of the matter is that never happens. And if it did happen, I wouldn't be able to keep up with all the back and forth. So this is great. So it'll be a more of a, intimate, personal live stream, because, I think that a lot of what is happening in our world and what has been happening is not by mistake. It's not coincidence. This is like divine. So every single one of you watching me, there's a reason for it. There's a reason why my voice is being used the way it is. God just kind of came to me one day. I felt really inspired to use my voice to try to connect people, unify people. I've always been a proponent of unity. And when I started to see how much division was taking place under Obama, really more than I realized until after Trump was elected and I saw it just kind of like boil over. I couldn't like be silent anymore. I've never really been a silent person to begin with, but it's just now I'm deciding to broadcast it out into the interwebs and just let's see what happens. So, um, yeah, guys. So we got 10 people watching. Guys, please give it a like. Everybody that's watching, just to make sure, since it's in its infancy stages, we want to make sure that it gets the maximum amount of likes and comments and all that. I don't have super chats enabled or anything like that. It's not monetized. It's going to take at least I'm guessing like a month or so before I have like 1,000 subs and so many watch time minutes before I can get super chats and monetize. So, all right. So where do I begin? I'm trying to think where. First of all, I think it's important that you guys know more about me and who I am and my journey. And I've talked about this before. I've given in several different videos. I've talked about, you know, my journey to the red pill or my walk away moment, but it actually goes a little bit deeper than that. So let's start at the very beginning when I realized that something was up, something was different. You know, there I was humming along, just kind of on the hamster wheel, just going and going and going. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. So, like something's off. I got to dig deeper and figure this out. Okay? So, as you know, you can tell from the shirt, I'm a Colorado native, born and raised, grew up there. And I went to college there. And after I graduated college, no, I'm originally from Colorado. See, I'm going to try to keep up with the chat as I'm talking. So feel free to ask questions, guys. But let me try to get through this little blurb at the beginning, and then kind of ask questions. That way, I don't miss anything. So to answer your question, I am originally from Colorado. I grew up in the suburbs of Denver. Okay, and I went to Colorado State, graduated there, and just like every other unsuspecting, eager college grad, I couldn't wait to get into the workforce. Like, yeah, now I can work my way up the ladder and everything's going to be good. And I'll be making like a cush little salary in no time. And then I'll buy a house. And like, I had all these things planned out that just did not work out the way that I thought that they would. And I was really frustrated about that for the longest time. But, now that I look back on it, I am so happy, so grateful that that stuff did not work out, because had that worked out, I'd be like beating my brain against a desk every day, Monday through Friday, just going through the motions, like waiting for the weekend, and, you know, all that stuff. So fast forward, after I graduate, I moved to Minnesota because the job market was really good. And I got a job working at Target. Target's headquarters is in Minneapolis. So I worked there for, like 3 years, 3.5 years. And I was at the corporate level, and I really felt like I found my home. It was such a like down to earth company. Everyone was like young. It was very energetic, very fast paced. You know, the nation's third largest retailer. What's not to like? And I had been in sales previous to that, and I didn't like sales at all. I didn't like the hustle of sales, and it didn't feel like it was a good fit for me, even though I'm a natural like talker. I couldn't get passionate about selling phones or what else. I worked at a bank. I didn't like any of that. And the hours sucked. So I get this job working at Target. It's fun. Everyone's drinking. It's like college, except in the real world. And very, very quickly, I won't say quickly, I'll say like 6 months in, I started to, like, after that newness of like, oh my God, this company is so awesome. All these like famous people come here and all this stuff is free. After about 6 months, I settled in and I started to feel like, okay, this is kind of like a cult. You know, it's red and khaki all the time. You don't have to wear red and khaki to work, but everyone just kind of marched to the beat of the same drum. And I've never been one of those people. I've never been like that. I've always marched to the beat of my own drum. If there's something that I didn't like or don't like to do, I'm simply not going to do it, because life's too short to do stuff and participate in things that you're not passionate about. But this was a job, so I felt kind of obligated to stay there. And so, I get laid off because they do all these like downsizings, and I end up going back, and I wasn't moving forward. And so I just felt kind of like I was just spinning my wheels, just kind of stuck. Like every time every time I would think I'm getting close to a promotion, my boss would go on maternity leave, and it just got really bad. And so I went to this, what they call Red Talks, which is just like a TED Talk. It's exactly how it sounds, where they'll bring in like a CEO from a smaller company. Or one time they brought Howard Schultz to talk to us, but I think that wasn't like a Red Talk. Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. Anyway, they would bring these like higher profile people like Magic Johnson. They would do these Red Talks, and it's supposed to be like inspirational things. So I went to this Red Talk. My boss is out on maternity leave. The boss that's replacing her, she's never there. I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna go sit in speaker. Maybe it'll inspire me to do something. And while I'm over there hearing from this speaker, she's talking about how your job is just a spoke on the wheel. You are not the spoke. The job is the spoke. You're the wheel. You keep turning, and that job is just a part of the wheel. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I get that. And then the lady was saying, you need to be unapologetically yourself. Don't ever change for anyone. You need to be who you are unapologetically. And I'm like, I agree with that. Why was I like trying to bend over backwards and fit this mold? I'm trying to be the square peg fitting through a round hole, and it's just not me, but maybe it'll work out. I don't know. But it got me inspired to want to leave that job. Now, as I'm at this, hearing this Red Talk, I'm like browsing through my phone, and I see this notification come through saying Prince died. Prince has been found dead at his mansion. Mind you, I'm living in Minneapolis. This is where Prince, born and raised. Prince, that whole city is like Prince, okay? So I get the notification Prince died, and outside it's like gloomy and rainy. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, this is a strange, bizarre day. So I go home from work. My buddy comes over. We're talking. I'm like, man, did you hear Prince died? This is crazy. And he goes, yeah, man, I've been looking into some things, and word around town is he was taken out. And I'm like, taken out? Like, what do you mean taken out? Like somebody killed him? Did he not like overdose, or like they're saying on the news? They're like, and he said, well, no, because Prince did an interview where this is why I have the MikeNificent Uncut channel, because I've been wanting to say this on my main channel. It's not going to sound all that controversial, but it's also you're going to see it's about to pivot in a different direction. Well, anyway, my buddy tells me that Prince was taken out by the powers that be. So Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, took Prince out because Prince did an interview or gave an interview about chemtrails and how they're spraying the cities with chemtrails, and that's what's causing all these like outbursts and violence. An airplane will fly over a neighborhood, a mostly black neighborhood, and then all of a sudden there'd be people fighting and arguing, and then the police would show up. There'd be violence like right after that airplane flew over. Now, mind you, this is me getting introduced to this for the first time ever. This is back in 2016. Coincidentally, the same year that Trump was elected, right? So this is the moment where I'm like, wait a minute. I've been shaken free from what I didn't even know had a grip on me. I'm hearing all this stuff at work that's got my mind churning. Like, wait a minute. I'm not stuck at this job. I have a degree. I can go places. I'm not stuck. The whole reason I went to college is so that I have options. So I'm going to start looking at ways to get out of this cold climate that I don't like. I don't fit in. Everyone up there is super PC, and the culture it wasn't a fit. But then on top of that, Prince dying, and then having that conversation with my buddy where he's like, I'm telling you, go home and look up chemtrails. So I go and start looking up chemtrails. Never heard of it before. And it led me down this tremendous rabbit hole of research and learning about all these lies of the mainstream media and how it's a business, and Monsanto's and all of these shadow government agencies, and how there's people pulling the strings from up top which I'd only like vaguely heard before, but I'm like, yeah, that's whatever, you're crazy. But it became like a, I guess, guilty pleasure for me to, like, after work, I would go home and like watch all these conspiracy things. And I watched Alex Jones when he went and snuck into the Bohemian Grove and heard about like George Bush and the Skull and Bones and all these crazy things. So it woke me up into like, wait, there's something else going on. We're not just here on this planet to be on a conveyor belt pretty much from the time we're born, and they slap a 9-digit number on us and we go through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, then we go into a career, and they never teach us how to be independent. They never teach us how to think. They never teach us what we naturally already want to do, which is self-govern, you know, explore the world, make the world better by using our God-given brain, our intellect. Man has been an expert forever in the history of humankind. Man has exploited his surroundings, just like all other animals do, right? Beavers build dams. They're exploiting the environment for their betterment. Man does the same thing. And we started like farming and, agriculture and all that. And all of a sudden, man realized the best way for me to maximize productivity in this world for my betterment is to exploit the greatest resource of all time, humans. And thus the story of our enslavement was born. I watched Stefan Molyneux. He had a video. It's like 10, 15 minutes long. I'll maybe repost it here since I'm less worried about like monetization. If you guys haven't seen it, it's called Story of Your Enslavement. It'll blow your mind. You're like, oh my God, so much sense. So I saw that the media was lying to us. I saw that there were certain people who knew what was going on, and whenever they spoke out, something happened to them. Either they were put in an insane asylum, they were labeled crazy, they were given more pills, or they were just flat out killed. So Prince wasn't actually the first one to speak out and talk about Illuminati and talk about how he wants the rights to his own music. Michael Jackson did it first. Look what happened to Michael Jackson. He called the higher ups at, I believe it was Sony or Universal, whoever managed his music. He called them devils. And it's really too, see, and I don't like calling people crazy because that's like dismissive. Where's that coming from? Kanye West has spoken out about it too. Other celebrities have spoken out. You guys have heard about Illuminati and how all the elites in Hollywood are involved in that. So anyway, this has all happened to me in 2016. I'm peeling the layers and learning all of this stuff right around the time that there's all these like police shootings of black men. I'm at the height of my emotions in Minnesota. I'm like feeling kind of disgruntled, ready to get out of there. I'd already been there for like 4 years at the time, and there's a bunch of police shootings. One of the police shootings happened in Minneapolis. Day after, one happened in Louisiana, and they were happening in all around the country, for the past couple of years. And so it's maybe started to wonder, like, what's going on with race relations in America? Like, damn, I thought we had come so far. We have a black president. And I'm like, oh yeah, how's that black president doing? So see, I started like thinking about other stuff. I was less concerned about work and more concerned with my reality and my surroundings. I'm like, I'm not happy with how the taxes are high here. Obama just seems like he's not getting anything done. He's forced this Obamacare on everyone. I noticed there's a lot of crime in a lot of these Democrat cities. There's just not a lot happening. And race relations are 10 times worse than they were when he got elected. So I was already kind of like skeptical of Obama. Then the presidential campaign came around, and I saw all the candidates on the Republican side, and I was pretty much agnostic. Even though I voted for Obama twice, I was not feeling just pulling the lever for the Democrats just because. I was actually curious, like, okay, we got some Republicans. I see Hillary's back up there on the. There's this new guy, Bernie Sanders, who a lot of people in Minnesota were like, gung ho about this Bernie Sanders guy. And without me knowing very much about politics, very little to any, I'm like, he seems a little bit too radical. Seems too good to be true that he can offer all this free stuff and someone's just going to pay for it. So I was skeptical of Bernie. Hillary wasn't a fresh face. I saw a lot of fresh faces in the Republican Party, at least faces I wasn't familiar with. And then I saw Trump up there. But I just thought, like, okay, Trump's the outsider, but there's no way he's going to make it. I was actually a Rand Paul guy. I was paying close attention to Rand Paul, which I'll get into that later too. But I was very open to what the Republican Party had to say. And I thought, like, I don't even know what this means for me. It could be good. I don't imagine it could be bad. I know I've heard that Republicans are racist. They hate black people. They want to stop black people from prospering. And I heard all this nonsense, but I'm already at this point, I'm like, I'm shutting out what other people are saying. And I'm focused on what's going on with this election. So Trump wins, right? At this point now, it's the beginning of 2017. Well, actually, the end of 2016. Trump gets elected. Mind you, I am in an echo chamber of liberals, Minneapolis. Everyone's freaking out. It was like the sky is falling the next day after Trump won. I won't lie. I didn't vote for Trump, but I was really nervous when he won. I'm like, oh man, what? I don't know. She's never been in politics before. I really thought Hillary was better qualified because at least she won't take the country down a dark path. She's just gonna carry on what Obama did, which even though that wasn't great, it's better than nothing. So see how guys, like, even in 2016, I had no idea what I didn't know. I thought I was woke. I thought, like, oh yeah, the media's lying, all this stuff, and there is a shadow government. They're doing all these things, and they're putting fluoride in our water, and they're poisoning our food, and maybe the Earth is flat. Not even gonna go there. That's so not gonna go there. But like, I've been open to all of these different conspiracy theories, but I had no idea that politics truly, truly played into it, and that we were this close to losing our country had Hillary won. So I just thought, like, Trump winning can't be good, but I'm going to be open minded. I'm not going to freak out because I know that no matter who's in office, my life isn't going to change that much. But everyone else around me, they're like, oh my God, the second coming of Hitler just got elected. He's so bad. All this dog whistling. And so I'm like, wait a minute, you guys are being way too extreme. You're not using your brains. This is hyperbole. So I started talking to some friends who voted for Trump. And I'm like, why did you vote for Trump? Just tell me why. I got to know. And they tell me all of this stuff like, Obama made me feel like I should be guilty. I should feel guilty for being white. And there's all these, what do you call it? All these new like PC terms that came out. I'm like, yeah, I noticed that. And I also noticed all this like gender fluidity stuff happening. And I'm like, this is some bull. What is this? Where is this coming from? And people were telling me this is all under Obama. Obama did this. Obama divided this country. I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So I became not only open to like Trump being president, but also reflecting on Obama's presidency. And I saw how much more divided we were, not just along racial lines, gender lines. We blurred the lines of everything. We destroyed the nuclear family. Like, we just pretty much threw traditional family values out the window, which I didn't, and a lot of progressives are for that. Progressives now, you hear progressives, they talk about how, we have too much heteronormity in our society. We need to get rid of Father's Day. We need to get rid of Mother's Day and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm like, this is insane. So at that point, I'm rejecting the left altogether, even though I spent so much time thinking, liberals are good, conservatives are bad. And so I fraternized with liberals, and I was exposed to like the indoctrination. I feel like I let hip hop indoctrinate me the most to believe that I'm a victim because of my skin color, but nothing about my life leading up to that made me feel like a victim at all. So yeah. So, Trump gets elected, everyone's like having a freaking meltdown. At that point, I'm tired of Minnesota. I'm tired of the culture. I'm tired of the job. And I see how crazy everyone is acting over Trump. I leave Minnesota, quit my job. I decide, you know what? I'm going to take a calculated risk. I'm moving to Florida. And I know, like, I know how to spell my name, that I will land on my feet because I'm ambitious, I'm driven, and I have a college degree to fall back on. And I know that I'll be fine. So I moved down here and I started doing Uber and Lyft. And I had all this extra free time. By the way, I was making just as much money as I made in my corporate job, which was it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I never thought I would end up in Florida of all places. I just kind of chose Florida because who wouldn't choose Florida after living in the frozen tundra? That's kind of how it happened. And I knew California was super high tax. So I moved to Florida and I'm like loving life, but I also have all of this free time. And I discovered all of these great conservative channels. Like I discovered Ben Shapiro, Anthony Brian Logan, Larry Elder, so many different conservative thinkers, just thinkers. And I was exposed to all this information because I'm on YouTube pretty much 24/7. I didn't have cable down here, so I wasn't distracted by what I normally would have been distracted by, random TV shows like Walking Dead, football, nonsense. I used to watch CNN. I used to legitimately think, oh, CNN's on in the airport. That must mean it's quality news. They're fact based. They care about information. So when I got down here, which was middle of 2017, by that time Trump has been in office for like 7 months. I'm like, yeah, everyone that said, the KKK is taking over and the world's getting crazy because Trump. I'm like, by that time, I'm like, yeah, but he just passed tax cuts. That's awesome. All these other things have gone on. This is great. I see he's trying to make peace with North Korea. Like, I don't see a problem with that. But I noticed with all of the media, they were spinning it into a negative. It didn't matter what Trump did. I'm like, so you mean to tell me Trump could cure cancer? And they would say he cured it wrong. And so I started getting pissed off. So I was pissed off with how crazy the left was. I was pissed off that they wouldn't give Trump a fair shot, even though I wasn't like a diehard Trump supporter. I was just very open-minded to him. So I was pissed about those things. And then after moving to Florida, which voted for Trump, doing Uber and Lyft, I met a lot of people. I'm talking a shit ton of people that voted for Trump. People are lifelong Republicans. People flying their Trump flags in their front yards and wearing Trump t-shirts and make America great again. I thought, okay, well, everyone else that I've talked to on the left has said all this crazy stuff. So if I'm going to see it, I'm going to see it right here, right now. And man, I felt so bamboozled when I met these people. They're like, I've never been a racist a day in my life. I voted for Obama twice. The media lies. Trump supporters are not people like that. Here's what's really going on. We dodged a bullet with Hillary Clinton. She was a globalist. And so I started hearing all these terms. And then it became very clear to me how close we were to losing the country. And I thought, shit, man, we're about to lose this country. Thank God Hillary lost. Thank God we have President Trump. So I had a new appreciation for him. And then I started watching his speeches. I went to a Trump rally down here, which was like a year later. But I got a Trump hat. I just felt like I'm going to support Trump because on principle alone, everyone's saying, you can't like Trump. He's a racist. If you like him, you're an Uncle Tom. You're a sellout. You suck. I'm like, who the hell are you? Why are you in my face? Why do you think you are an authority figure to me? I don't answer to anybody. So I just found this like it was like I entered a different realm of existence. Not in the Matrix, not in that like rat race trying to move up the corporate ladder. I'm financially independent, doing Uber and Lyft at the time. I'm living in a warm place where there's different people, different walks of life. You have liberals down here, but you have a lot of conservatives, Republicans, libertarians. And I found all this information online. I found some thinkers, man. And like, it opened my world. I just thought, like, as I'm hearing like Jordan Peterson and Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell I'm like, this is music to my ears. This makes sense. This is logic. This is fact based. It makes so much sense to me. But for all those years, I'd only been hearing people, give their opinions and base everything on emotion. And so it's just I'm grateful for that, like that journey. Okay, so I'll kind of wrap up so you guys can ask questions because I feel like I talked for a while. But just so you know, that's kind of where I'm coming from. That's kind of how I made it to here. And as I look back on it, even right now in this moment, it's God. That is God. You cannot call it anything but that. Maybe you call it the universe. You could call it Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call it. It's something greater than me, something greater than you, something greater than this world of this socially engineered environment that we all live in, where I legitimately thought, well, even though my manager is on maternity leave, I have to wait until she comes back to prove to her that I'm worthy of a promotion. So I had kind of outsourced my earnings to someone else, and I was working for someone else, helping them build their dream, not me building mine, because that's what I was taught in school. That's what I learned in school. They pretty much program you in school to be a part of the slave class, right? Unless you're going to be an engineer or a mechanic or, a brain surgeon, you're going in school and it's like you're on a conveyor belt and it spits you out on the other side of that conveyor belt in the workforce. And I thought that corporate America was where I was supposed to be in the workforce. And it was so wrong. But once I moved down here and became financially independent and I started thinking for myself and learning more about politics, I just thought like, man, this is so crazy. And how I know so many people that are still stuck in that, like that nonsense. So I can maybe help them get out of it. But that's just kind of where I came from, man. And I never have ever been a liberal in my life. And I'm like, I could never be on the left ever. Like even with my upbringing, like when my parents were still together, they divorced when I was like fifth grade. I came up in like a nuclear family. Like there was structure. My dad was there, still is there. My mom is there. You know, I came from like a moderate to conservative leaning family. Like we never saw ourselves as victims. I went to a mostly white elementary school. I mean, I grew up in suburban Denver. What the hell? But this like in the black community, I'm pretty much the antithesis of what it is to be black in America because I didn't experience too much racism growing up, very little. The fact that I can't even recall much racism tells you everything you need to know. So my worldview was never based on me being black in a white man's world. I never felt that way. I had a lot of white friends growing up. I had black friends. I had friends from all walks of life. I just didn't see color that way. I just didn't make decisions based on skin color, or any other immutable characteristic. And, my family's a bunch of hardworking, independent people. Like not all of us, but a lot of us have moved out of Colorado and kind of doing our own things. And we just don't see the world the way that we're told to see it. Some of us are, but it's so easy to fall into that trap and be indoctrinated and put more stock into what you're being told than what you actually are experiencing. That's why I tell people turn off the tell lie vision and turn on your brain and look around you. Did you see KKK today? Did you get sprayed with water hoses and attacked by German shepherds? I mean, can you do anything you want in America? Well, I guess that's up to you. It's up to you to decide if you can do anything you want. But you did see a black president. Madam C.J. Walker was the first black millionaire. Oprah was the first billionaire woman in the entire world. I mean, black people are everywhere within government and, Hispanics, women. So maybe, just maybe, what we're being told is a lie and it's for a reason. And so my upbringing has been that way. And it wasn't until I moved to Florida that I realized, like, wait a minute, this is where I belong. And I was so close to being fully indoctrinated. If had I stayed in Minnesota and just maybe I had gotten promoted, I mean, what are the odds that I would have my own YouTube channel if I stayed there and got promoted and then got a house with a white picket fence or whatever it is I was trying to get at the time, more material items? What are the odds that you guys would be watching me right now? I just think that everything happens for a reason. So that's kind of, that's what it is. So what do you guys think about that? Now, see, you guys have gotten the extended version of kind of my walk away, red pill, snap out of the matrix moment. It really didn't start after Trump was elected. It actually started when Prince died. And I ever since then, I've looked into so many different things that we'll get into later down the road. So let me look at some of your comments because I'm curious what you guys think since I've talked pretty much consistently for like 35 minutes. Ask me any question you want about my upbringing, and just know that the comments are probably delayed by a minute or two here. And also, let me know if you guys are getting feedback or if the audio is good or not. Got my laptop plugged in. Wi-Fi is good. This laptop doesn't have the best video quality, but I'm sure it's fine. Seeing you at your first Trump rally, even the following day, you were absolutely thrilled. That's so true. Yeah, so the Trump rally, it took me a while before I truly, truly warmed up to Trump. When I got this hat, this MAGA hat, I bought it in January this year, okay? And when I bought it, I kept it in the house, hid it in the closet. I'm like, I'm going to buy a Trump hat because I'm tired of the lies. I want to blow up these bullshit narratives about Trump and Trump supporters. So I'm standing in solidarity with them, not necessarily as a Trump supporter, like supporting his policies and all of that, but just as someone who values truth and values unity. So I wanted to stand as kind of like that bridge between Trump supporters and people who think Trump supporters are Nazis. And I kept that hat hidden in my closet for a while. And I slowly started wearing it out. Like I would wear it outside to the car, wear it to the mailbox, maybe wear it to the store in the car, but then leave it in the car. And then one day I decided, fuck it, I'm just going to wear it. I'm wearing it in the store and I'm wearing it facing frontward. And, this is a public place. If I get assaulted, it's all on camera, whatever. And it was so liberating, guys, because people were looking at me, but they didn't want to say anything. And I actually got more comments than anything else. A lot of people were like, I like your hat. Your hat is awesome. And I would strike up conversations with people, and it was just great. And then when I found out that he was coming down here, he came down here to rally or to campaign for Ron DeSantis, and I went to his rally. And by this time, I had my YouTube channel, and meeting so many Trump supporters in one place and seeing that a lot of them were from different walks of life. Like you had Asians in there, you had Indians in there, you had Hispanics, you had blacks for Trump, you had women for Trump, you had LGBT for Trump, and they actually like held their signs up saying like women for Trump, blacks for Trump, and they were all so nice. I'm like, these are regular people. I don't see a problem. I don't see how they're making it sound like the fringes of society just grew and became mainstream, and now we have Trump. Trump is actually the backlash to Obama being president, because it was Obama that pushed same-sex marriage like no other president before. It was Obama that pushed taxpayer-funded abortions, and he propped all that stuff up. It was Obama that wanted like to blur the lines with gender and like, let's get rid of these bathrooms and stop having these binary genders. Obama coddled all this PC culture that was being spit out of college universities, some of which I was a part of. I remember in college learning about one of my classes. I had a professor that used the acronym DWEM, DWEM, and she would say, "All right, guys, today we're going to talk about DWEM," and she said it in like this like monotone, like, "All right, time to talk about DWEM." I'm like, what the hell is DWEM? She's like, "Dead white European men." And I'm like, now that I look back on it, I'm like, that was indoctrination. Just the way the whole presentation of it is like, white men suck. Western thought is destructive. Western culture has been oppressive and killed all these people. And I don't remember them ever talking about socialism other than socialized medicine is good. Look what Canada's doing. Australia's doing it. Australia was successful with their gun grab. Look at these European countries. And it wasn't until I looked back, guys, if I didn't have all those experiences I just told you about, I might be a leftist. I might be further and further to the left. Not because I grew up some bleeding heart liberal, but because I was overexposed to it. I felt like I was indoctrinated. Like I could have been led down this path based on falsified information and propaganda. But this all happened under Obama's term. Look at our deficits. Look at everything that happened. So Trump was the backlash to that. And I've never been a PC guy. I've never been PC, but some of that stuff I'm trying to like unlearn. I still, even right now, still bite my tongue and hold my tongue in ways that I didn't before I moved to the Twin Cities, where I was living in, an enclave of liberals. So it's kind of crazy. Okay. Mike, don't forget about your audience. All right. Good point. Good point. All right. Let me answer some questions for you guys here. Mike, from here, you look really young. May I ask how old you are? If you can guess my age, I will tell you. I will tell you if you're right. Let me guess my age. How old do you guys think I am? Why the channel switch? Someone said. The channel switch, Ron, was because I wanted to branch off from talking exclusively politics, but I didn't want to take the entire channel that way. I noticed that with my channel, I would blur the lines and there was a lot of overlap between talking politics and talking other stuff. And so I wanted to kind of split. So this channel, I'll do more live streams. We'll talk about more non-matrix stuff, the politics and the left-right paradigm, all that divisive stuff that needs to be talked about. Absolutely needs to be talked about, especially with like how liberals have a stronghold on information, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and then mainstream media, academia, they're all controlling the minds of so many people. And so it's important to kind of talk about that, but engage in politics in a meaningful way. I also enjoy talking about it. It's just kind of entertaining, the day-to-day stuff, like all the stuff they call racist. It's important to debunk that stuff, but it's also really funny to like troll and make fun of that stuff. But this channel is a little bit more serious. This channel, you guys will get to know me a little bit more, but I'm also going to be talking about some of the other stuff going on, like the shadow government. Like I want to be able to talk about that and not have it be off limits. So I'm less worried about this channel getting taken down and being like demonetized. So that's pretty much why. There's a lot to learn with the NWO. Mama Ames. Let me see. Audio is great. Video is good. I think I might have scrolled back too far, guys. Sorry. And I'll improve on this as I go along. Mike, can you please turn the camera so Trump is in view on your flag? Better view. Oh, there we go. That better? Got it. All right. Thanks for sharing your story. I will enjoy listening to your future subjects, things I'm interested in. Trump has so many big things he is working on. I wonder if he will work on fluoride water. Yeah. So we got to talk about this fluoride in the water thing. There are not enough people that question why fluoride is in our water. I've heard, and I believe this to be an absolute myth, that they put fluoride in the water so our teeth don't go bad. I'm like, okay, what if people are like, I don't care if my teeth go bad, don't add chemicals to my water? Would the government then take fluoride out of that person's water? No. San Diego, I believe back up until recently, maybe they're still holding out. San Diego was like the only city in America, or one of the few, or either the largest or whatever, to not allow fluoride in their water. Like they held out, they pushed back on it. But for the rest of us getting fluoride in our water, and I have a water filter for that reason. I don't see a reason to have fluoride in the water. But yeah, hopefully Trump can do something on that. Let me see. Dear Dina Marie, I hope he answers us. Mike, don't forget about your audience. Okay, now I'm caught up to where it said, all right, you guys guess my age. Someone said, so Fontini, are you the one that asked me my age? Because you are the closest. I will be, believe it or not, guys, I will be 34 in a month. I'm getting old. I don't even know what my birthday is. My birthday is up on December 14th. So if you guys want to say happy birthday on that day, feel free. Yeah, my birthday's coming up in a few weeks here. 13 days. Geez, today's December 1st. Wow. But yeah, black don't crack, guys. My mom is almost 60, but she looks like she's in her 40s. My dad looks really young too. My sister actually is in her 40s, but you could never tell by looking at her. We age so well, so gracefully in my family. They want you to fix the camera so we can see what's behind you. Okay, sorry guys, I'm so delayed on doing that. I'm glad you guys told me on that. Whoever guessed your age deserves a shout out. Yeah, it was Fontini guessed my age correctly. Well, got the closest. Actually, since I'm 33, Fontini were off. Someone said 33 in here, and I don't know who it was. It said it. Someone said it. I don't know who it was. Jaina, were you the first one to say it? Trump's backbone and determination to make this country great and help its people give me honest hope for all kinds of things that were lost causes without him. So what do you guys think about this whole, what is it? It's slipping my mind right now. But some people have commented on my videos. Q. Okay, so this QAnon thing, this like super cryptic coded language, and all these people that have channels and Twitter accounts dedicated to decoding. I get the gist of the QAnon. I've heard that it's like some higher ups, Secret Service agents, old military people that are former CIA operatives, whatever. And they are communicating with Trump. They're the ones that convince him to run for president. And he sends coded subliminal messages through his tweets. And there's about to be a bunch of high profile arrests. I'm not there yet on QAnon yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not saying I don't believe it or buy into it. I'm just not there on buying into it wholeheartedly where I'm like, yep, I believe it. QAnon is real. Hillary's getting arrested before the end of the year. I'm very much like, I believe it when I see it. I believe it when it's real, when Hillary's in cuffs, when Obama's in cuffs, when the Clinton Foundation is exposed in the mainstream, then I'll start believing it. But a lot of it is people saying Trump has plans to arrest all these people and drain the swamp, and all the bad guys are going to jail, and our country's going to be restored to the constitutional republic that it is, which that would be awesome. I'm not there yet on the QAnon, WWG1, WGA. Not there yet, but I'm curious what you guys think about it. Much better camera angle. I'll have to be sure to include that going forward. I also have other flags that I want to hang up too. Let's see. Damn, you look younger. I know. I get that all the time. Cavities I had, so it did not work. I'm jealous. You guys are still talking about my age, or I'm not caught up with the questions yet. And I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. 21 people watching. This is great. This is my first ever like live stream on this channel with this, this kind of style where I'm actually reading comments and going slow as opposed to just going live and talking. So bear with me. It'll get better, and I'll try not to talk for 40 minutes straight. and let you guys ask questions, but I had to get the background out there, you know. Have you checked out George Webb? He is saying a lot that Q says, but even before Q says it. No, I have not checked that out because it's hard for me to keep up with the day-to-day stuff as it is. And I'm not good with this like decoded, like these cryptic messages. It's just not, I guess I'm not really into it, but some people actually enjoy it, analyzing QAnon messages. And my thing is this, okay? With the QAnon, okay? If Q is saying, here's what Trump is planning to do, here's this, and here's what's about to happen, why would that information be made public? Right? If it's supposed to be a secret and Trump's about to take down the deep state, why the hell is it being posted on Twitter and YouTube? Wouldn't Hillary and all of those deep staters and globalists just look at QAnon posts and be like, we better switch our strategy. They're on to us. Look at this. Look at this. They're tweeting this stuff out. They're saying Trump's about to arrest me. Pizzagate. Trump's on the Pizzagate. Like all this stuff. It's like that's my one thing with QAnon. And I wonder if it still kind of plays into that left-right paradigm, like politically, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's not really about Democrat, Republican. It's about lightness versus darkness, good versus evil, and which party represents lightness and darkness historically up until now. Okay. I watched Q and I'm waiting to see something happen. Let me move on from Q. Are you active on Twitter much? Yes, I am. Well, active is not the correct word. I do have a Twitter account. I'm getting close to 4,000 followers. But the thing is, I don't tweet nearly as much as I would like to, or nearly as much as I need to maintain it. I am more active on Facebook and YouTube than I am on Twitter. I do go on Twitter from time to time, and I have Trump's tweets on. I get notified when he tweets because who wouldn't want to hear directly from the president? But other than that, I don't. I maybe get on Twitter once or twice a day. And the thing is, with Twitter, the notifications are just overwhelming. I get so many mentions per day that I would be scrolling back to get to people from like days and weeks ago. So I don't really keep up with Twitter the way I would like to, but I do still go on there. I would like to get more followers, but I am on Twitter. If you want to look me up, MikeNificent813. Same thing with all social media. MikeNificent813 on Instagram and Facebook. Mama Ames says, I'm really worried about what we will ever do in 6 years without our beloved President Trump. I love him dearly. He's a great gift to our country. So here's my thing. And if I could wave a magic wand, here's what would happen. After Trump's second term, the swamp would be drained. Government would be this big. Federal government, anyway, would be this big. And we would have Ron Paul or a younger version of Ron Paul take over. Right? Libertarians have so much figured out that left and right don't have figured out. That's why I say I don't like to be put into a box. I don't claim to be a Republican. I don't think you guys have ever heard me say I'm a staunch Republican. But if you had to put me into a box or label me or tie me to one political party or the other, I would say tie me to libertarian, because the non-aggression principle makes so much sense to me. It's so logical, and it's the closest thing to the Constitution, I believe, the closest philosophy to God-given rights. Don't tread on me, don't force anything on me. Natural rights, property rights, taxation is theft. We need voluntary, unregulated system, free market society. I don't mean like we should go back to the old like wagon and horse days where you're using like the barter system. There is a role for the government. It just needs to be limited to like national defense. And this is where it's kind of like you muddy the waters. Some libertarians are against borders because they're like, we don't need borders. That's government control right there. But the thing is, like, it's still voluntary. Like, no one's forcing you to live within the borders of the United States. You could go live somewhere else. You could apply to go live somewhere else. It's voluntary to be wherever you are. But I believe that we need the government to be so small that we just have federal government there for national defense. Maybe, I don't know. That's pretty much it for like our military. I can't think of anything else. I mean, definitely to get rid of the Federal Reserve banks. But I would love it if states competed as businesses. How come every single state doesn't compete for citizens, right? California, they're offering free stuff. Move to California if you want super high taxes, but everything's free. Or Texas, come on down here. We don't have any state income taxes. Super, super cheap property. Move to Texas. Or maybe it's Florida. Like, we look at all this coastline. Look at all these beaches we have. We know we have no state income tax. We have no estate tax. We have no Minnesota. We have no tax on clothing or groceries. I would love it if states had more power, states' rights over federal rights or federal government. I would love it if we had that. So that's what I think. If we could get past having Republicans or Democrats run it, we just need needs to be run at the state level, man. Especially like public education and things like that. All right, let me get caught up on you guys' questions. Sorry. I'm trying to read through these questions. Or your comments even. So forgive me if I skip ahead because there's just so many. You'll just get banned from Twitter. Screw them. Yeah. Mike, do you ever watch Alex Jones? Yeah, I used to until they took him off the internet. And I'm glad you brought that up because Alex Jones, say what you want about Alex Jones. His free speech was banned, and that scared the shit out of me because to ban one person totally from the internet is to ban everyone from the internet. Granted, Alex Jones reached millions of people, but if you can ban anyone from the public square of speaking their mind, then you can ban everyone. So banning Alex Jones is banning me. I mean, it wasn't even just like Facebook is a private company, Twitter's a private company. They kicked him off because of the things he was saying there. He got freaking banned from PayPal. Like, that should alarm everyone. Could you imagine if Wells Fargo came out on Monday and said, we're going to be closing accounts of all conservatives and right-wing conspiracy theorists. They're not allowed to bank with Wells Fargo. And what if all the other banks followed suit? What if you could be banned for your opinions from grocery stores, gas stations, schools? What if you could be banned from shopping? Right? Like, that's how deep it is. That's how insane the censorship has become. It's not even just, oh, you were suspended on Twitter because you're anti-Semitic or you said something mean. It's like Alex Jones got banned from PayPal. He can't even, they don't want him making money because of his political opinion. How is that not the same thing as what China's doing with their social credit system? Or it's like, oh, you were jaywalking. Now we can publicly shame you on billboards and now you can't fly out of the country. And you got to be on your best behavior, or you Googled the wrong thing. So now you don't get to stand in the fast line to get food, or you're restricted. You have to park in the back of the parking lot. What kind of nanny state is that? So yeah, this is long-winded. I do follow Alex Jones, but not like I used to because I spend so much time on YouTube, and YouTube has been my one-stop shop. And it's hard to keep up with all these other platforms. Like, I don't have the CRTV app. I do have the InfoWars app, but it's hard. I keep forgetting to go over there. Let's see what else. You guys are talking about Q. Facebook banned you. Dina, you got banned on Facebook? How did you get banned? It's crazy. I am fed up said I don't fit in with any party. I don't think anyone truly does. Because the thing is, it's like, that's just another form of tribalism. And you know, tribalism is something that I feel strongly about. Being black, yeah, because in the black community, tribalism is so strong. It's like the most important thing about you is your skin color and black culture. Now, just like, what about me though? What about what I want? And not everything in black culture represents who I am or my best interest. Certainly a lot of it doesn't. Like some of the, of course, the negative stuff, like the crime and the you know, a lot of stuff that's talked about in hip hop music, that I'm not living that life. That doesn't represent me. Same thing goes with like political parties. You know, like I wouldn't say that everything as it relates to the Republican Party or the Libertarian Party represents me, but I would say Libertarian most represents my interests and values and beliefs. Republican Party, there's some overlap there, but I don't agree with the government having a role in many things, and the Republican Party still does. Like, for example, um, marriage. The reason why we have so many issues with like civil rights with LGBT as it relates to like same-sex marriage is because the government incentivized marriage, and because marriage is considered like a covenant, you know, a binding, legally binding um, entity. I guess that's a word where it's it's been traditional all these years. Marriage is considered between a man and woman. Same thing as the Bible. Even though I agree with that premise that marriage should be between a man and a woman. I don't care that two guys or two girls want to get married. And so because of that, like I accept them. Like I'm not going to treat anyone different if they want to get married. I'm like, marriage is a contract. It's a piece of paper. It's just in the eyes of the Lord and in the eyes of the state, you are legally, you know, you've become one with someone else. But because the government has incentivized that with tax breaks and all this other stuff, if you're married, your spouse can get benefits. You know, there's certain incentives for people to get married, but because the state never acknowledged gay couples, lesbian couples getting married, they essentially become disenfranchised and discriminated against. So then you get that left-wing social justice activism, and it causes this whole like melee. It creates more problems than if the government just got out of the business of marriage altogether. Like, get rid of the incentives of marriage. Like, who cares? If the government got out of that altogether, and people could just get married, then anyone could get married. It wouldn't matter. So that's where I would disagree on with the Republicans on. And same thing with a lot of other stuff like legalization of marijuana. See, I'm a libertarian as it relates to that too. Like, who decided marijuana should be illegal? Some other person who thinks they're smarter than us? Therefore, you can go to jail if you smoke a plant. If you take a plant that grows from the earth and you decide to put it in your lungs, someone gets to come and put you in a cage and take your hard-earned money from you. There's so much wrong with that. That's a libertarian thought. That's what libertarians would say and think. But Republicans might say it's a gateway drug. It leads to all these other problems in society. We need to at least kick it back to the states. Let the states decide. Even though Trump said Trump is open to decriminalizing it, Republicans of the past probably would say it needs to be illegal, but maybe we should just like not make it a felony or whatever. Because, you know, certain states, if you get caught with like residue, they will throw the book at you. I've heard crazy stories about Texas and Oklahoma, like these Bible Belt states, super, super, super conservative on weed. I'm just like, why? You guys need to become more like lax on that. Mike, will you be attending SAS 2018? No. Remind me what SAS is. Wait, okay, so I think it's a I think that is to the Turning Point USA event that's going on in Florida. You know, I thought about going. And I really want to because Jordan Peterson's going to be speaking, Greg Gutfeld, what's the name? Other guy. Tucker Carlson and some other people. I would like to go to that, but I think it's restricted for college students. It's not going to be as open as the YBLS, but I mean, I would like to go, especially because in Florida, I could just drive over there. What else? Mike, how do you feel about the wall and not to put a Jim Acosta with a follow-up? Wait a minute. Mike, how do you feel about the wall and not to pull a Jim Acosta with a follow-up? Oh, I see what you did. Do you think Trump would issue the 10% middle class tax cuts? How do I feel about the wall? Build it. That's how I feel about the wall. I feel like this. I feel like we are a sovereign nation. I feel like we are the last stronghold in the world, in the entire world, where true freedom exists. Not even true freedom, because we're not truly, truly, truly free here. You're not truly, truly free unless you don't have to pay taxes, right? You would truly be free if everything in your life were voluntary. The government does take taxes from you, and if you don't pay taxes, if you try to evade, you'll get put in a box. So we're not truly free, but we are the freest country in the world. And the thing is, if we don't build a wall, you're going to have people come over here that are not from this country, that don't share the values of freedom. They probably don't even know what it means to be this free. They just want some of it. They want a piece of the pie, but they're going to be able to steer our political destiny based on them coming over here illegally. No, we need a wall. And I think we actually should restrict legal immigration for a while. I don't think we need to let anybody else here until we help the people who are here already. You know, it's a fallacy. You have people who were born and raised here, served in the military, and they're dying on the floor of VA hospitals, like people that are homeless, citizens that are from the United States that have horrible living conditions still. Whether it's their fault or not, you know, we all have free will. For all the, this is for like all the bleeding hearts that are like, we should help everyone. We should open our Africa and India. We should let everyone come live in the United States. Why don't you care about the people who are here first? Because you don't care about those people. You don't care about anyone. You care about making yourself feel better. And that's why you're virtue signaling, because you want participation points. You want to look super moral to everyone else. It's about you feeling insecure. That's why you virtue signal. That's why these celebrities and these Hollywood elites, that's why they get on Twitter and say, the president, my president is gassing children at the border. I'm like, who are you trying to get approval from by saying that? Because first of all, it's a freaking lie. And second of all, you don't actually care. You just want attention. That's why you put it on Twitter. That's why they do what they do, because it's narcissistic, self-loathing behavior. But yeah, we need to build a wall. I'm gonna work on my tangents a little bit, guys. It'd be more short, not long-winded like that. Fontini Dean. And I can't tell as I'm reading these chats. I don't know if you guys are talking to me or talking to yourselves. And I'm very much trying to get to your questions, because I'll wrap it up here soon-ish. I don't want to rush out of here, but if you guys keep asking questions, we'll keep going. He's still on Infowars.com. Yeah, I know. I just don't want to go to the Infowars app every day. I wish he was back on Twitter or on YouTube and Twitter. That's my point. Did you guys hear that there's like a petition for Alex Jones to get White House press credentials? How freaking great would that be? I would love that. I would always watch the press briefing every single day if Alex Jones had press credentials, because he would ask the questions that nobody else would, as we know, but he would ask those high impact questions. And the thing is, he would be so like forward with his questions. I don't think Trump would be able to answer it. I could almost see it getting crazy because Alex Jones is so intense that he wouldn't be able to keep his cool. He would be pretty much the life of the show. He would compete with Jim Acosta. he'd probably overtake Jim Acosta because of his questions. And he, of course, he would be at odds with everyone else in the room because he'd be the only Trump supporter in there, one of few, and he would be the most outspoken. So that would be interesting, though, if he got press credentials. Why not? Dan Bongino. I love Dan Bongino. Dina, I didn't know you lived in Florida. That's great. Dan Bongino, he lives in the city over from me. So Dan Bongino lives in Florida, I thought. He's someone else that I discovered, and I listen to his podcast every or his radio show whenever I can. Let's see, what else? Sorry, it's taking a while. Paul Joseph Watson, I follow him. So I do still follow some people who were affiliates of InfoWars, like Will Johnson. He's an affiliate of InfoWars. Mark Dice used to work for InfoWars. Paul Joseph Watson, Millennial. Who else? Maybe Next News Network. I don't know. Maybe not. There's some great channels on YouTube, guys. You guys, if you want to know where I get a lot of my information from, check out these channels. Check out High Impact Vlogs. Check out Political Avenger. Check out Richie from Boston. Check out Truth or Talk, of course. Ron Paul Liberty Report. Woodward TV. ODD Reality. A Call for an Uprising, kind of, sort of. Truth Unveiled, kind of, sort of. Same thing. RFG, The Chosen One. I don't know if anyone knows about him. He's got like 27,000 subs. But he talks about like Atlanteans and moon men and lizard men and stuff. So it's a little bit out there for me. But still, I like exposing myself to different information. You know, when your brain expands, it never shrinks back to its original size. So, fun fact there. Take in new information every day. If you don't use your brain, you will lose it and you'll become a mind-numb liberal. You'll just be fed information. So make sure you're choosy with what information you put into your brain. And those are some of the channels that I have learned so much from. States need small government. They do. But hey, if states want to have big government, let them have big government. Like I said, if California wants to be the most bloated example of big government, California, their heads are so far up their asses. They think that they are the best state in the country. They don't even acknowledge their problems, or they'll talk about it as if, well, we know the answer. We're going to just legislate this. But it's like, your legislation is the whole reason it's screwed up in the first place. That's the whole reason why people are homeless. So you can't legislate on top of legislation to fix it. That's their issue. That's their thing is, we just need to raise taxes more. That's the thing. We just need to raise taxes more. So let California do that. What needs to happen is California should just secede from the Union and become a U.S. territory, and we can just invade them and just keep them at bay, I guess. I don't know. But let them do what they do, because eventually they're going to collapse. There should be no federal bailout. If you're going to be irresponsible with federal money, you don't get federal bailout. That's the same thing. This is common sense, guys. Like, if you were a kid, back when you were a kid, if your mom gives you $20 for allowance and you put it all on candy instead of putting it in your savings account and let it grow interest, then why should you go back to your mom and be like, I blew that money, Mom. I need more money, please. And I want the money to come from other people. I shouldn't have to earn it. It's going to come from other people. This is the same thing with California. Like, why do they get federal funding? You know, I heard some, probably a conspiracy. I don't know if it's true or not. As you guys know, California is a dry state. They don't get a lot of rain. They have a lot of forest fires. I also heard that there's a lot of shady shit going on with their water supply, that they're sending their bottled water, like they're bottling water and they're selling it overseas. When in reality, that water could go towards something else, irrigating the land. There's a lot that could be done there, I guess. I don't know. But let those states, let them have big government. Let California, let New York, let Illinois, let them ban all the guns they want. because you're going to have states that are the opposite, that are more business friendly, lower taxes, better climate, whatever. You're going to have your Texas, your Florida, your Tennessee, your Georgias, your southern states to compete with those high tech states. Let's see which states are better. And you know what? Maybe it'll mean all the liberals, instead of trying to flip these states to become what they wanted to become, go move to California. If liberals, like if Democrats should run everything, how come liberals aren't moving to these high tech states? You don't hear about, oh, everyone's trying to get into New York. Everyone wants to get in California. Everyone wants to live in Minnesota. No, everyone's moving to Texas. Everyone's moving to Florida. People are starting to move to Oklahoma. People are moving to these low tax, limited government states. Okay. These comments are kind of delayed. Uh-oh, someone's message got retracted. Jay Atwell, what did you say? How long ago did you say it, too? That could have been 10 minutes ago. I'm scrolling to the bottom, guys, because I can't really keep up with everything. Let's see. Damn right, build it. See. Let's see. Mama, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. This is why it's hard for me to find the which is great. You know, I appreciate that, but it's hard for me to kind of find the questions that are for me. Are you friends with Uber Guy? Hell yeah, I'm friends with Uber Guy. Uber Guy is one of the coolest people I actually met in DC. Super chill, laid back, funny dude. He's like, yeah, we're friends. Uber Guy, that's my guy. You know, it's funny. I actually found Uber Guy's channel before I got into politics, because remember I said at the beginning of the stream that I moved to Florida and I started doing Uber and Lyft. Well, I was looking on YouTube for like tips and tricks on how to be a good Uber driver and like how the taxes work, and just wanted more information. And I came across his channel, and at the time he wasn't even talking politics. He was still talking about Uber and Lyft. And then all of a sudden one day he started talking politics. I think he was talking prison reform at first. And I'm like, this dude, so we're but at the same time, I was already kind of into politics. And I'm like, wow, he thinks just like I do. So again, guys, it goes back to everything happens for a reason. This is all divine. We're all strategically placed. Your very global position is for a reason. And you got to figure out what that is for you and what it means and do something with it. Because as I found out, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of conservatives, a lot of free thinkers also are financially independent. They're entrepreneurs. They own their own businesses. They're starting their own business. I'm in that same lane. And I noticed a lot of, still a whole bunch of my friends are liberals. A lot of them are into working for someone else, building their career, moving up the ladder. So I'm not going to say correlation equals causation, but let's just say I'm happier to be on this side because I like being my own boss and, you know, being in the driver's seat, literally. Kevin's Corner, Brandon Tatum. I get a lot of comments about, have you seen these channels? Are you subscribed to these people? Yes. Let me just tell you who I'm subscribed to, so you guys will know. And then if you haven't heard of them, maybe you should subscribe to them. So obviously, ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, huge influencer on me, inspired me, giving me a lot of information. He's like, ABL's like probably one of my top 2 channels that I go to for information, period. Also, Will Johnson, David Harris Jr., Leo Dunson, Amazing Lucas, Patricia Dixon. Who are some of these other channels? As we're talking about, you know, Black conservatives. The Hayes brothers, they don't post as much. Who else? Uber Guy, Amazing Lucas, Jericho Green, Axe Truth. If you guys don't know who Axe Truth is, a guy that wears like the funny nose and the glasses. He's hilarious. I love his channel too. He's doing a live stream right now too, actually. Who else? I think that's it for Black conservatives that I can think of that come to mind. Awareness with Chris, that's another one. Yeah, I'm connected with all of these. Kevin's Corner. I love all these Black YouTubers. I support them all. Unless they say something super outlandish, then I won't support them anymore. I agree we should restrict immigration for a while. Have you heard what happened with Will Johnson live stream earlier this evening? Okay, so Mama Ames, have you heard what happened with Will Johnson's live stream earlier this evening? He was taking calls from subs and someone hacked the phone line. I felt so bad for Will. Those on the left are demons. I did not hear that. Terrence Williams, Mind of Jamal. Okay, that's another one. Yep. I don't know who Rhonda Mary is. I'll check out Rhonda Mary. I'm going to pull that up on my phone here. Rhonda Mary. So I'm kind of like particular with channels that I subscribe to. I've seen this chick before. I have not subscribed to her yet, and I'll sub to her, whatever. I kind of have this thing where I don't subscribe to channels that all of their content is like an hour long, because I'm like, I'm not going to watch every single one of your videos that you post. I like videos or channels that post, small videos, 10 minutes or less, 20 minutes or less. I just like things to be short and concise. But if it's a channel that's nothing but live streams, I probably won't sub to it. Candace Owens, of course. Truth or Talk, yep, I'm sub to her. I'm friends with all these people. Zach Hing. A lot of them I've met in person too. Like I met Brandon Tatum in person. Mike, I've been enjoying Controversial Reality. Yeah, I love Controversial Reality. He's great too. Tony Patriot, check him out, guys. I've been meaning to live stream with him. He's been a follower of mine for a while, since pretty much the beginning, and now he has his own channel because he feels it's important for more and more people to speak up to save this country. So go subscribe to Tony Patriot, man. We need more people to speak up. Think about how loud the megaphone is on the left. They have everyone with a platform speaking against the president, and they're against this country. Our sovereignty is so sacred. If we lose it, it's going to be gone forever. I don't think you can reverse the effects of socialism. I mean, if you can, I haven't seen it done. And I don't think you can reverse it all the way back to what we have. Because the thing is, if they take over, eventually there's going to be a ceremonial burning of the Constitution. It's done. It's a wrap. Let's see what else, guys. Wow, it's already 10:17 here in Eastern Time. What's your college major? My college major was communication studies. Who knew, right? And I this is so much more of a natural fit for me than when I was in corporate America, because when I was in corporate America, I'll tell you what I was doing at Target. I was an associate buyer. So, the people that procure all the stores and decide, here's what's going here on this end cap, and let's look at our year-over-year sales, and we need these samples here, and we're going to change the material and the fabric, and we're going to source raw materials from here, and like all this. The people that pull the strings, people that work behind the scenes to make Target go, I was on the back end there. So super analytical, lots of detail-oriented stuff, super mundane work. It got really tiresome. Meetings about meetings, super bureaucratic. I wasn't able to use my skills the way I'm using them now. This is a much more natural fit for me. And the thing is, I'm not even getting paid for this. Like, I'm not getting paid to have a YouTube channel or to speak out. There's something I'm just passionate about. And if I could make money doing it, that would be a bonus. So I've looked into things like joining the Republican Party of Florida, or like working for Ron DeSantis's administration. I just don't know that I want to get into politics that much. Um, I feel really strongly that humans were already governed too much, which is why we have so much human suffering, because a lot of it is man-made. A lot of human suffering is man-made. Um, and so I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I try to run for office, which, surprise, surprise, I'm not going to be running for office. You guys have asked me this question and told me, you should definitely run for Congress, Mike. You'd have my vote. You should, you should. And I'm not to say that my mind won't change down the road. I just think that when I think about running for office and getting into politics, like jumping in with both feet, it feels too corporate, right? I'd have to wear a suit and tie. I'd have to present and carry myself a certain way that doesn't feel natural to me. And it goes against everything I speak of, which is we need a more limited government. Like, I don't want to govern people. This is why I didn't want to be a manager or supervisor at a company. I don't want people reporting to me. I don't want direct reports. I don't want to manage and govern and essentially control other people. I don't want to make decisions for people. I want to teach people to make decisions for themselves. And I think the best way for me to do that, and the most strategic way to use my voice and my platform and my skills and my talents and my abilities and my passions, are to do exactly what I'm doing, but grow this and hopefully have it be something that I can support myself with. So everything from live streaming, having people come on to my channel, and going to college campuses and doing like the Steven Crowder Change My Mind, or doing a Flecka's Talks, going out to like rallies and protests and marches and talking to people, hitting the pavement, going to Trump rallies. I feel like that makes a difference more so than if I just became a bureaucrat, because that's eventually what happens is you just move up the ranks in politics and it becomes your career. And then your focus shifts from putting the people first to putting yourself first. A politician's first two goals are getting elected and getting reelected. That's just kind of the truth. That's the nature of the beast. Power corrupts. It always has. It always will, because it's out of human nature. When you get into power, you want to keep that power. You get drunk off of that power and you want more of it. This is why when people have money but they don't have power, they get depressed. When people have power, they're probably still depressed, but they feel more badass, I guess. They feel powerful. And so it eventually happens to everyone. And it could honestly even happen to Trump. As much as we love Trump, I don't want him having more than 2 terms. I don't even know that I believe in lifetime appointments for the Supreme Court. But I mean, I guess they just rule on things and interpret the Constitution. They are not interpret it, but they just go off of the Constitution. You guys get what I'm saying. But Supreme Court justice, that's a lifetime appointment. But I believe there should be term limits for all other politicians. There should be no reason why Maxine Waters still has a job, because she is so deeply corrupt. But the way that our government's set up, she could just keep getting elected. See, you need fresh faces in there, people who are eager for change. And if they don't deliver that change in that short period of time, they're out. But it also, if you restrict their limits, like your term limit is going to be 4 years, or you can get 6 years and then that's it. They're going to be focused because they know they can't be reelected. They're going to be focused on their legacy, most likely. So maybe that means that they actually get something done, get some meaningful legislation passed, instead of lying to their constituents, manipulating them for votes. So, I mean, I guess that's like the long-winded answer of why I have no plans to run for office. Not anytime soon, although that could change over time. And if I ran, I would have to run as a libertarian. And as a libertarian, I might as well run as a Republican, because they get cannibalized by Republicans. Look at Ron Paul. Ron Paul is probably the best president we never had, but they kind of get sandwiched between Democrat and Republican. See, that two-party system is corrupt. And I'm not even a registered libertarian because of my own paranoia. I'm registered as Republican because I'm voting Republican. It's like I feel like I'm throwing my way, splitting the vote if I vote libertarian, even though I should vote libertarian, I should register libertarian. I just get that paranoia, like you have to vote for who you're registered for, and so it's just easier to vote Republican. But that's kind of like the gist of why I'm not running for office. Okay, guys, so it's almost 10:30, so I'm gonna take a few more questions and then I'm gonna wrap it up. We're at an hour and a half. I started at 9 o'clock, so this is perfect as far as timing goes. Oh, you guys, some of you have asked about my Amazon Christmas wish list or whatever. I don't know how that works. Like when I see something I like on Amazon, I add it to a wish list anyway, just so it's saved for a later date. But I have an official MikeNificent wish list, and people, like, I'll get an email from Amazon saying so and so wants to see your wish list, but they can't find it. If you have one, share it with them here. Log in Amazon. So I log in Amazon, but I'm like, how do I share it? How do I send it to them? And I can't figure it out. Do I send it to them through the Amazon app or what? Or do I have to copy and paste and email it to them? I just can't figure it out. So if any of you know how to share an Amazon wish list, let me know. Because a lot of the items on that list are what I would directly go towards the channel. Like I would like to get a better camera. I want to get a tripod. I want to get a microphone. I want to get some headphones, and I want to be able to live stream in public better. So I need that like phone holster, I guess, with like the LED light. And there's some things that I want for my channel, but then also I have a few like apparel items that I would wear during like live streams or like to events. But it's not like I'm on there like I need some shoes, some Jordans. I wouldn't do that. But if you guys want to know where that list is, I guess I can put it in the links of the description with everything else. Mike, don't forget to wrench me. Enable your super chat. I can't do that yet because I'm not eligible for super chats until it's monetized. I think I can make you a moderator, but I can't actually. I can make you a moderator, but I can't do super chats and all that stuff yet. So bear with me. I'll figure out a way to make you a moderator for this channel. I think you may just have to comment on this video after so I can click on your name. But Dina, I got you. And if anyone else wants to be a moderator, let me know. Check out Edge of Wonder YouTube about the deep state and the bloodlines of the 13 families. Guys, it goes so deep. Another channel, Truth Stream Media. I've learned a lot from that channel. I'm typing this in as you tell me about it. Edge of Wonder. I wonder if I'm already subbed to it. I am not subbed to it. But I am subbed to it now. Thanks for that. Everybody representing Florida in here, type 1. Wow, we got some Floridians in here. If you guys ever want to meet up, let me know. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. I would like to get out and travel around the state for whatever I can, whether it's an event or something. I was this close to driving down to Broward County with that whole election fraud stuff. It was pretty tense because you had Gillum supporters and DeSantis supporters. And both of them thought that their candidate deserved to win, and it just was really hostile. I probably won't ever go to events that could get violent. I like peaceful protesters. I want to interact with them because they're more likely to be receptive to a dissenting point of view. Mama Ames says, Mike, I love your integrity. Where were you when I was your age? Not born? Not thought of? I don't know. I guess. Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. You know, I kind of have always I guess not like toot my own horn or anything, but I pride myself on being authentic and genuine, and I'm kind of a hard on the sleeve type guy. So that, that's to a fault sometimes, but it's also, what I'm thinking, what I feel. I just kind of tell it like it is, which I think was why I became a Trump supporter, because he's the same way. He just kind of tells it like it is. And I just have so much respect for people who aren't afraid to voice an unpopular opinion and stand behind it firmly. If you can stand behind your opinion firmly, that says a lot about you as a person and your integrity and your individuality in a world where we're all just expected to just submit and become part of a collective, just be a piece of a machine. That's not the way it works. You're an individual for a reason. Is Busch Gardens in Tampa a good place to be around Christmas holidays? I don't know. I've never been to Busch Gardens. So happy DeSantis and Scott won. Gosh, that was too close for comfort. Yes, it is, but I gotta save that for another stream. All right, guys, couple more minutes and I'm wrapping up. For real this time. Cajun Legacy. I would have moved to Oklahoma if Gillum would have won. I don't know what would have happened if Gillum would have won for me. Honestly, I told you guys my whole story. I told you why I moved to Florida. What attracted me to Florida? Low taxes, limited government. It's a very pro-business climate, and Gillum would have destroyed the state. A year after me moving here, I probably would have been devastated because it's hard to upgrade from living in Florida, in my opinion, based on what I like. I like the year-round weather that's nice. I love the beaches. I love that the cities are so close to each other, right? You can go to Orlando, or Orlando's like an hour from me, and it's a whole different city. It's got its own culture, its own vibe, events. They've got sports teams. Miami's 3 hours away. Atlanta's 6 hours away. So the proximity to other cities, not to mention I can hop on a cruise ship and go to the Caribbean. There's just so much to like about Florida. You can get a flight to DC or New York for cheap. I don't know where I would have moved. Maybe Texas, maybe Tennessee. I would have to stay in this region, and I'd have to stay in the Sun Belt. But I'm just grateful that DeSantis won. St. Lucie County. Okay. I'm actually thinking about that side of the state. I like that side of the state. I don't like Tampa Bay too much. It's too big. It's a huge city. Do you ever go to a range? No, I do not go to a range. I need to go to a range. I need to I'm actually going to join the NRA. I hear that the NRA is struggling right now. The left is trying to do away with the First or the Second Amendment, and they're constantly at war with the NRA in court. And the NRA has lost a lot of funding, I guess, the past couple of years. You don't see as many NRA ads, and they're constantly under attack. Anytime a gun goes off, the NRA gets blamed for it. Except, what's funny about that? California, a super, super gun strict state, they still have mass shootings. I thought that when you ban guns, there's no more shootings. See, that's how you know they want to ban all guns, because they still aren't satisfied with the gun legislation that they have passed. So I would like to join the NRA, go to some ranges down here. I just need to do that. What else? One final question. Seriously, guys, one more question, and I'm wrapping up. Get tired of talking for so long. And I'm curious what you guys thought of this first live stream. It's not all going to be live streams. There's going to be videos too, like shorter videos like you see at the other channel. But live streams here will be more like this. Probably not as long, though. Probably limited to like an hour or 30 minutes, maybe even. Cajun Legacy says, FYI, taxes or Texas. Oh, it moved quickly. Hold on. FYI, Texas property taxes are high. I lived in Austin, Texas from 2013 to 2016. Yeah, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Tennessee has no state income tax, but they have super high sales tax. Florida has high property tax, I believe, and some other high taxes. But for the most part, Florida is a pretty low tax state, and so is Texas. I mean, they're business-friendly states. If you own a small business, do you want to live in Florida or the Carolinas or Georgia or Texas or whatever? I will join the NRA. What are the what are the pros and cons? I can't imagine any cons. And it gives me one more thing to wear, like if I get an NRA hat, it's one more symbol of my independent thinking, my independence. When I wear this MAGA hat, it triggers people so much because they're like, oh my, why does he not think the way he's told? With the NRA hat, it would do the same thing. So on principle alone, without even joining the NRA, I would wear an NRA hat in public just to say, I can't be controlled. It's a symbol. It's symbolic of freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of thought. Join the GOA. I have no idea what that is. Mike, what was the site you just mentioned that is a source for conservative truth? I didn't mention a site. I mentioned a bunch of like YouTube channels, high impact vlogs. High impact vlogs. Check that out. It used to be called High Impact Flicks, but YouTube shut that channel down, so he started it up again. The guy actually lives in Oklahoma. His name's Brian. I really like his channel a lot. And he talks about the false left-right paradigm and the banking cartels, the mainstream media nonsense. And he even says like voting is the suggestion box of slaves. Check his channel out. Check out Political Avenger. Check out Truth Stream Media, ODD Reality, Woodward TV, Richie from Boston. There's some other ones that I'm just drawing a blank right now. Oh, Gun Owners of America. Maybe I'll join that. I'll check it out. GOA. All right, guys. Wrapping up. I've noticed, I've been looking in the corner to see how many people are tuned in. I've consistently had about 20 to 25 of you guys watching. So that's awesome. That's a blessing. That means I held your attention. That's great. I hope that next time when I do the live stream, I'll have double this and I'll have double the subscribers. I'm going to ask that you guys bring people over to this channel. I'm going to be promoting it more. You can guarantee that you will not see the exact same content on this channel that you see on the main MikeNificent channel. Like, I'm not going to record a video and put it on both channels. So I don't want you guys to feel like you're subscribed to both channels and it's the same content. It won't be that. This will be a more interactive channel where the gloves can come off. I can just say whatever. So this was just a little intro live stream. Get to know you, whatever. Freestyling. But be on the lookout for more content and help me grow this channel because it needs to get to 1,000 subs before I can enable some of these other features like super chats. Yes, I have chatted with Conservative Mexican. Again, if you name the YouTuber that's like popular, I either know them, met them in person, or have their phone number. We've collaborated in some aspect. So everyone from Controversial Reality, Conservative Mexican, David Harris Jr., met him in person, Brandon Tatum, Anthony Brian Logan, Leo Dunson, Truth or Talk, Maurice Delk, Will Johnson, Terrence Williams. Terrence is so short, guys. I didn't realize how short he was. Amazing Lucas. All these channels. I support all of these channels. Jericho Green, Patricia Dixon. Anomaly. I love his channel. I would like to work with him. The red elephants, I'm going to make a separate video about that. You guys stay tuned. Stay tuned on that, okay? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to wrap this up for the 5th time. I said that already. I'm seriously getting tired, but you guys take care. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.